What's up, all you Fox Automators, and welcome back. And today, obviously, you're here to see the unboxing of the new Samsung Galaxy 8 Classic. So finally, we have the Classic back with the bezel on it. Now, you may have seen on my channel last year, I compared two of the Galaxy Ultra watches in terms of color-wise. And in this video, what I'm going to do is talk about this and compare it to last year's favorite of mine, which was the gray and orange. Now, many of you out there really didn't like that, but I gotta tell you, that was the best decision I think I made at that point in time. I don't think I would have changed it other than maybe the white. Hence the reason why this year I'm going for the white version. Now, what I want to do right now is just compare it to last year's Ultra. Now, last year's Ultra is this year's Ultra as well. They haven't changed the name of it. It's supposed to be the newer version of the Ultra. They haven't given it a number. Just like last year, it wasn't a 7 Ultra, it was just called an Ultra, and this is the Ultra 2025 that is out now. Now, I don't think there's too much that has been added to it, but I think maybe there are a few little bits and pieces here and there, which I don't think I'll probably notice too much about that anyway, apart from maybe the battery life. Now, I gotta say the 2024 Ultra battery life for me was good enough. It was the same story from all the previous years. So obviously I have the Ultra here and still in great condition. There are a few things that you need to be aware of when you do buy one of these watches, which I'll cover with you. Maybe not in this video, I might touch on it a little bit, but I will be covering it in a future video. So let me start talking because you really want to see what this looks like compared to the new version. Now, one of the things I'm interested in with this Classic is the comparison between what the actual bodies look like between the 2024 Ultra and the 8 Classic. Now, from some of the pictures I've seen, there are some things that stand out. Well, I say stand out, but not so much stand out, but I'll explain to you as we open up this box. So right here are some of the watches that I still own from the Samsung range. Now, I have had many more in my time, but a lot of them I've sold or broken or given away. But these are the ones I've held on to. We got the large 4 Classic right here. We have the S3 Frontier, which was for its time a great watch. I still had to keep this because I think it still looks cool. But anyway, so in addition to the unboxing, I have a white leather strap that comes on this watch. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to match it up with one of the Spigen metal bands. And hopefully it should fit, because I'm hoping that 2024's Ultra bands fit on the 8 Classic watches. Hopefully, let's see what happens. Okay, so let's get into this packaging. Just the basic stuff going on around here. Cut through this. Now this shares is kind of thick, but okay, so it's just some standard unboxing right now. Okay, in the back of here, we've got something extra in the back of here, but for some reason, oh, okay, there is a little flap here I could have pulled. And here is the watch face itself. Okay, so it looks really nice, I've got to say. Just like last year's Ultra, this year's 8 really does look nice. I think it's always nice to see something new and fresh, and this really does look fresh. So let's look at this more closely. So you'll see most of it is the titanium silver around the sides. Now the back of it is actually much flatter than the Ultra, I've got to say. So just remember, last year's Ultra is the same shape and everything as this year's Ultra. So 2025 shape is exactly the same as 2024 shape. So this is a straight comparison between those. Straight away, I'm looking at this. I gotta say it's almost the same thickness. I would say that the 2024 Ultra is probably a little bit thicker because of the way that these sensors are lined up here. It is more concave, where it is a lot flatter here. And the feel of it does feel a little bit different, but in terms of size wise, it's exactly the same size. Okay, so on closer inspection on these watches, I have noticed that initially my first impressions that the two watches were kind of the same size, but after really looking at it, the Ultra is a lot bigger. And I think because of the bezel, it gives you like a false sense of size. So if I look at these two, and when you have a quick look, they kind of look the same size, but when you actually lay them flat, you'll notice that the Ultra does feel and does look a lot bigger. Now, it may be due to colors as well. Colors may be a part of it, but the main thing definitely is that the Ultra screen is way bigger than the Watch 8 Classic. So if you're really looking for that big display, you're going to want to come over this way. And if you are thinking about getting the white one, you know, it's at a big discount at the minute because the white one is only for the 2024. You don't get the 2025 in white, but you do get it in the dark gray and orange, and you do still get it in the black, obviously. But you know, just looking at these, as I said, I did have a second look at this, and the Ultra is still a beast compared to this one. And I will give you more information about this as I'm wearing it over the week, and I'll bring you another video on this. I wonder if it does exactly the same thing. And if it does, then I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to forget about the 2025 Ultra and just go for this. I think that this is going to be Samsung's biggest seller out of all their watches. The Ultra is really good. I really still do like it. You know, these specific dark colors. Now I'm going to have the option to have a darker colored watch on or a lighter colored watch. But in terms of the body themselves, there are a few little things that I'm noticing right now. And one of them is that the speaker grills here are a lot smaller than the Ultra. The fact that we have this bezel back here now, I know there's so many Samsung lovers out there that are going to be jumping for joy. Last year's, I gotta say, it wasn't too bad for me. I'm not too much of a bezel person, but I would say that, you know, every time you touch the screen, you're getting smears on it. So having the bezel now, you're not gonna have to keep cleaning your screen as much. Okay, so before powering this up, I've noticed one big thing and one big difference is the fact that the displays on both of these are different. Now the Ultra has a bigger display compared to the 8 Classic. Is that a problem? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wear both these watches for weeks straight and come back and tell you, like, did I miss the extra real estate that was on the Ultra compared to the 8 Classic? Now, there is one thing I'm going to highlight, and I know probably a lot of you out there, if you are a Samsung watch owner already, you're going to notice that when you first get your watch, you have to be super careful with the paintwork on it. For some reason, it takes a couple of months before the actual fresh coating on here actually hardens. And I've noticed that for many of years with Samsung watches. I don't know if that is the same for anything else, but this is just my own experience. Now I can show you that with the Frontier. Like after many years of wearing it, you know, obviously it's going to get some wear and tear. But I remember the first day I wore this before I left the office, because I got this delivered to the office, and before I left, I already had a scratch on it. Now I'm a person that really looks after their devices. I don't remember even scuffing it against anything, so I'm not sure why that happened. The same thing happened with my 4 Classic. At this point in time, you can't really notice it, but you know, when you have something brand new and something happens to you, you'll notice it, even though nobody else can see it. But over time, you know, it's kind of worked its way out, so I don't really actually see it anymore. But that's one thing I would say with anything that is painted like this: if you can, get yourself a bezel protector straight away, at least for the first couple of months, let it harden up, and then hopefully, you know, things will be okay. Now with the 8 Classic, because we don't have any paint around this should weather a lot better. But at the same time, you know, you still want to be careful because you really don't want any scratches. But with a watch like this, you can probably get those scratches buffed out because of the material and no paint. Okay, so I've been speaking a lot about the watch. Let's get the strap on and let's see what it looks like on the wrist. So in this first box here, we just got some documents, and then the box underneath, we get the charging puck. And if you have one from previous years, it's still going to work now. So now you have additional one, but you just don't get a charging brick. And let's get to the bottom of this, and we have a nice leather strap. Now I gotta say, right off the bat, the leather on this feels really good. Oh, interesting. Now it's not just leather. Now you've got leather or leatherette. Oh, I think it is actual leather on top. Okay, so you've got leather here, but then on the side you have the same rubber plastic material that you'd get on your other straps from last year. So that is a nice feeling. Now one thing I'm going to say straight away is that it's thinner. I do like a meatier, thicker strap, so maybe I might have to swap that out at some point in the future. So let's get this on the watch. Okay, so same snapping mechanism as last year. Well, same style. I wonder if it works with last year's bands. Be interesting to see. Now this isn't pushing as easy as it did last year, because the Ultra from 2024 pushed in quite easy. And now I'm thinking I have to press down on the button. Let's see, press down on the button and now it's in. And it does feel a lot different. Even the actual button itself, I don't know if you can see that right now, the button itself is a lot smaller than the Ultra of last year's. Now I will be very disappointed if last year's bands don't fit on this year's watches. That's going to be annoying. Anyway, let's get back to it and we'll put the other side on. It's the same thing again. Gonna press the button. Okay, so now it is in. Now the fact that you've got this slimmer band, I really don't like the way this looks. I'm feeling a little bit disappointed in terms of like how this feels. I guess the best word to put is unisex. Instead of being more gritty, I think this is a lot more slender. But I guess that does give you the option, slimlined, or if you want to be more rugged, then you could switch out or buy the more rugged one, which is the Ultra. So as much as it didn't look that much different before, it's starting to look a lot more different now I've put the bands on. Now, as I said, my initial idea was to use some of last year's watch bands from the Ultra on the 8 Classic, but I'm sorry to say they do not fit. Last year's Ultra bands do not fit this year's Classic, but I really do like the Ultra one, so and I have quite a few myself, so I'm a little bit disappointed that they don't fit. Also, just looking at this band a little bit more, I'm not really liking it. It's not really thick enough for me. I like thick, chunky watches and straps. This is more slender, more, like I said last year, more James Bondish as compared to Ethan Hunt. And so yeah, I'm kind of like I'm not really a fan of these, so I'm gonna have to replace this. And as I said, this band from last year's Ultra that I was gonna try and fit on this does not fit, so don't even think about it. Gotta send that back. Okay, so here it is, side by side. Okay, two different feels of watches, two different looks of watches. Even though I initially thought, you know, there's not that much difference, now I'm actually seeing and feeling a lot of difference. Even the weight, I think the Ultra is probably a little bit heavier. Let's look at them in hand like this. And I'm gonna do some other B-rolls so you can see more. And I've gotta say, I'm not too sure now. I've just purchased this and said I am gonna upgrade because I like the Classic bezel and I wanted to change and have a white. But does this year's Classic beat the Ultra shape of last year, which is the same shape as this year? This is just a first impression. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this over the next 5 to 7 days, and I'm going to come back to you and really let you know what I'm thinking. Because right now, just like last year, I'm kind of thinking to myself, was this worth the upgrade? Now, if you're thinking about buying either of these watches from this year's or last year's, please use the link in the description because it enables me to buy more tech on this channel, do more reviews for you to give you more in-depth understanding and analysis before spending your money or before saving it. But in the meantime, thank you for subscribing. Please like, hit the notification button because I will be doing some more videos on these and some accessories just like I did last year. And for now, peace.